So I don't know if I mentioned I got in a shouting match at my shouting is that what it's called? Shouting match with uh, my dad, another friend's dad, at another friend's dad's memorial service about Palestine.
I'm so sorry.
That is the
Wow.
coolest and most thing that, yeah, I know. Good.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, family gatherings have been fun for me too lately.
Oh,
Yeah.
ugh.
It was,
Oh.
and that's how I found out my dad is a Zionist. I literally had no idea what he thought on this issue, and then a fourth dad in this story, who's a sassy motherfucker, went to the bathroom, came back, sat down, and said, "So when are we talking about Palestine?" I was like, "You motherfucker!" That guy proceeds to say nothing else. But my dad goes, "Oh yeah, Joe and I disagree on this." I was like, "Oh, do you?" And then it was just off to the fucking races. Like, Jesus Christ. It's amazing. Like, I've had very few conversations about any of this in real life. Like, everything's been online because that, that's who I am. But it's incredible. In person, you just like, yeah, they know nothing. Like, they really don't fucking know anything about this, and they're just so happy to take a hardline stance on it. And I'm like, how much have you read about this shit in the last 6 months? Like, how many experts have you listened to? Like, fucking unbelievable.
And this is part of the reason why so many of them want to ban TikTok, is because they didn't realize like how like uncontrolled the narrative was on TikTok. And so they think that like TikTok is it's all Chinese propaganda to turn young people against the state. It's like, well, no, it's unfiltered news about what's happening
Right.
on the ground.
Can't have that.
No, exactly. We absolutely cannot have that.
Really, this shit is incredible, man.
Young people might stop believing in democracy. Chapo had a funny take where it's like, oh, if Trump wins this election, then that'll be the end of democracy, and they're all like, good, this democracy fucking sucks.
Yeah, right. If this is what you meant by it. Like, and my wife was just telling me about a tweet she saw that was like, if you don't reelect Biden, then everything that's happening is going to happen.
I've seen post after post after post from liberals who are talking about the end of democracy in America. And I keep thinking to myself, like the pictures from the university in Texas that's just completely surrounded now, or at least cordoned off by, state troopers armed with all kinds of weapons. And I'm like, I mean, this is under Biden. I mean, I realize the governor's, a Republican, but,
Yeah, but
under
look at New York.
Democratic
and-
administration, he could activate certain state agencies, and they would have to answer to the federal side, and he's not. So please talk to me about how Trump is going to make things worse, because I mean, the picture of a journalist getting tackled by two fat police officers and his camera destroyed. I mean, the only thing worse than that is getting shot in the head, and that's already happening in Gaza in spades. So, like, what worse? We're past.
Yeah, they're trying to build this anti-Semitic narrative on college campuses to distract from the actual ongoing genocide that these people are protesting against. Like, apparently, this is a far more egregious situation. Is students protesting on Columbia, where it started, where they pride themselves in being part of the 1968 anti-Vietnam War protests, right? Like, that's liberals are I forget where I read this. I'm sorry, but like, liberals are always against every war except the current one, and they're in favor of every protest except the current one. It's what they did with MLK. MLK Jr. was not popular. Malcolm Moore told a really interesting story when he was young. He was like 9 years old when MLK Jr. got assassinated. He was just getting out of church, and someone just yelled it out. They just found out, and like half the church broke out in applause, and this was in Michigan. Like but like we only revere him as a hero like down the road because it's safe to do so now.
Yeah. Well, also, I think Reagan is the one who made it MLK Day a holiday. And it's not because Reagan fucking loved MLK. It's like to sort of institutionalize and whitewash this whole legacy of him.
All right. Yeah. You're listening to the Left Opposition Podcast from your earbuds or on speakers or on a speaker on your phone on the bus and annoying everyone around you.
Please do that as much as you can and give a 5-star review. Thank you.
This is a almost weekly now podcast of five guys where we discuss news and current events and theory from a Marxist and more specifically Trotskyist tendency. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. We've got Chris, Doug, Joe, Matthew, and myself, Aaron.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy.
Evening.
How's everyone feeling this week? How are we doing?
Fucking fired up, man.
I watched Fox News a little bit today. Did you know there's a pro-Hamas protest going on in campuses right now? I didn't know that. I saw kids protesting a genocide. I hope these groups don't meet each other. Because boy, oh boy, I don't know. I don't know where these are, but Fox News said they were everywhere, and I'm just seeing a few kids who are protesting a genocide with taxpayer money, and they want their school to divest financially from this terrorist government called Israel, I guess. I don't know if you guys follow the news lately, but
dude, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for my Iranian check to clear. Like, goddamn. What?
You get from Iran? I get my checks from George Soros.
Him too.
Well, no, we're also as Trotskyists, we control the Democrats, right? and the Republicans.
We control the world.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
You're thinking too small there, Aaron.
I am a State Department socialist. So yes, I support Anthony Blinken very much in his mission to keep sanctions on Venezuela. That's me. I am pro Anthony Blinken socialist. Yes, I am.
Also, yes. Hardcore Trotskyites, by the way, that continues to be like our number one episode. we really seem to love that one.
I think we might have to thank Alex Jones for coming out. Like, really, here we are first. Thank you for a clever title, you lying wacko. But thanks, appreciate it.
This is a really fun clip to open up on.
All right.
So it turns out that Trotsky doesn't just control the Republican Party; it also has elements in the Democrats.
Huh.
It controls Barack Obama as well.
Wow. We do all that now.
Yeah.
We've been busy.
We have been.
Yeah.
Man.
Americans need multiple jobs now.
So
yeah.
Here is
now who's this guy on the screen? I don't recognize him.
This is a friend of the show, Jackson Hinkle. He's this 45-year-old, 24-year-old.
Well, I really thought he was a Kennedy. Like, I thought it was RFK's like nephew, but all right.
Like either he hasn't slept or it's just really bad lighting. But like Hinkle's looking rough.
He's wearing like Air Force Class A colors.
Yeah,
it's like what I used to wear.
All right.
Okay, so here he is talking to Alex Jones. I don't know why Alex Jones loves this kid so much. He keeps having him on.
It's all to get his fans to become his fans and buy his stuff. He'll do anything for followers. So that he doesn't care.
Well, no, I know why Jackson Hinkle will attach himself to Alex Jones, like anything for an audience.
They're doing it for each other. Yeah, this is a mutual.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know, isn't it? I know. They're both giving each other
the heart,
playing footsie with each other. Yeah.
Two anti-communists found each other in the wild. All right, this is just a great clip to open up on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Stalinist like you are. I get a national. No, I get a strong man that took an agrarian society and turned an industrial society in 20 years, and and probably got poisoned. I mean, I get all that. And Trotsky and the neocons ran to Mexico, and then the modern neocon movement and National Review, and all of them are Trotskyites who said, they're all about power. Yeah. And so they took over the Republican Party, and they lost all these wars. They're being pushed out. But yes, you can't guess how history moves, but if you looked at it as some game and as if there wasn't other variables, if Stalin could have effectively stopped the Trotskyites when they fled in the early 50s, we would be in a much better world, because it literally is Trotskyites who were thinking about political domination and control. The average American wasn't. We're powerful too, is if populist Christian conservatives, we decide to be active and decide to not infiltrate, but openly take over with our ideas. But if you go back to the Ukrainian Nazis that were left, the Trotskyites, they have a right to rule, they think. They've already had incredible success. And so they can come and program us and manipulate us because they have a taste for control.
Okay, I'll pause there. Any questions so far?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that Alex Jones supported like the Moscow trials and everything, but I guess he does.
And he admires Stalin. Really, it sounds like, I mean, he's not a Stalinist, but he supports everything Stalin did. So, wow.
He's repeatedly said he has wished Stalin had gotten every single last Trotskyite.
Yeah.
He agrees with Churchill on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like Mussolini. When he means go after, he means murder. Just to let you know, he's calling for murder too. So
of political opponents,
yeah. So I'm always struck by the word control, because these people throw that shit around so much. And I'm like,
oh shit,
control what? What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, to what end?
Right. Yeah. And like no one changes over time. Like, some people, so what he's talking about, there's a kernel to every conspiracy theory has a little kernel of truth into it. And what he's trying to say is, and for those of you who don't know the story of where all this dumb shit comes from, it led to the guy that got sued for $1 billion for, making shit up. But so what he's saying is that there was a few Trotskyists in the 30s. They kind of lost the way. They kind of saw Stalinism. They lost a lot of hope, and they kind of moved off and left the communist movement. And I want to emphasize what I just said. They left the communist movement, kind of went off and towards the right and kept drifting to the right till eventually those people would be on Alex Jones's side of supporting the Vietnam War. Like, those are the neocons. So, like, he leaves out the 70s a little bit. Like, all the people, all the ex-Trotskyists were supporting the American war of imperialism against Vietnam.
Also, I don't think Jones realizes, like, the last political fight of Trotsky's life was condemning those people who refused to defend the Soviet Union against imperialism, people like Max Shachtman and James Burnham. And also, there were ex-communists who joined, like, from the mainline communist parties who joined the conservative movement. I'm thinking of, like, Whittaker Chambers, who was a CP member. And what about David Horowitz, who also came from, like, a CP background, and he's a reactionary kind of like Jones. So, and also most Trotskyists didn't become neocons. And Chris, you made the main point. In order to make that transition, they actually had to leave Trotskyism, Marxism completely.
Yeah.
Right.
And these are like 30-year arcs too. A lot of these people flirted with, like, what's his name? Billy Crystal?
Bill Irving? Yeah, I know. Irving Crystal.
Irving Crystal.
I know. Nothing against City Slickers, a fine movie, but like, hey.
He wasn't even a member. He was sort of hanging around a Trotskyist party in like his 20s, and then he becomes like a neoconservative like in his 50s and 60s. Like these are long arcs of people's lives, and people's politics change all the time. I went from conservative in my younger years to where I am now.
Same for me. I was a Republican when I was like 17, because I was an idiot kid. And then when I got a job, it became different. I learned about capitalism.
When I was 9 years old on election night in 1992, I held out a homemade Clinton Gore sign outside the polling booth. I'm very ashamed of that. And thankfully, I got over that.
Damn 9-year-old Doug.
Oh, yeah, I deserve
Canceled.
it.
You want to go, Doug? You canceled yourself.
I was born a communist. I was built different.
You're like, I know there's a lot of people like you. Day one, red diaper babies. And then like, God, no.
Now, Granted, she's not a neocon, but Angela Davis also had a very disappointing trajectory. They went from a very radical member of the Communist Party to, sipping wine on Martha's Vineyard with Barack Obama and stumping for fucking Genocide Joe.
Yeah.
It's just that,
I mean, to be fair, all her comrades were killed. Like, I guess I get it, but
yeah, over time, I know it just.
Also, one of the architects of the Black Book of Communism was a former French Maoist. So there's like all like these weird trajectories in different political groups. And, if you're going to like, none of them actually, if you look at the renegades, none of them actually look good.
So it just means that, like, being exposed to Marxism even at a younger age is no guarantee against being dead wrong in your older years.
Yeah. Like people like, I mean, that's the whole thing, but they're so because so that's why their conspiracy theory sounds like I said, some truth to it, but it's a conspiracy because it's not true. It's made up. And Alex Jones, like I said, has been sued for over $1 billion for lying about families. Like he's a pathological liar. Listen to Knowledge Fight, people. That's all I have to say.
Okay, let's finish this clip because Jackson Hinkle's response is just breathtaking.
Oh God!
And so it's good that Westerners and Americans don't have a taste for domination and rule. That's why we're not satanic. But we have to recognize these other groups want to do it. We have to come in and block them. And so the ghost of Trotsky controls Barack Obama. It controls Bush's.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yes, as Barack Obama is deporting millions of migrants in his time and like drone striking people and bombing things, he's really a Trotskyist all along. Yeah.
So the U.S. has no desire to dominate and control? I mean, what about all these interventions in Latin America? Korea,
yeah, there were no wars before
Iraq.
Trotskyism in America.
Yeah.
We had no foreign wars.
Wait,
dude.
So Trotsky was behind the Mexican-American War?
Absolutely. 1898, baby. Stand
All
one
right.
hill. You'll see Comrade Trotsky.
And the War of 1812. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
I have to go find my time machine.
We'll get to that in a second, but it's a certain somebody will say, well, it's not
this guy.
It's not who it is. Right. It's how they think, and we'll get to him in a second. But yeah, it's just you love this.
Republican leadership, the Mitch McConnells, the Mike Johnsons of the world, and those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. So,
you better overthrow your fucking party then, Alex.
Yeah, the call's coming from inside the house, Alex.
What are you gonna do about it? What are you doing about it?
I mean, I do wish that Trotsky, and he was killed obviously with a ice axe. I mean, but I do wish that his ideology had been repudiated and recognized for what it was.
So, what do you think Jackson Hinkle's response to this is?
He'll just say, "Yeah."
There's a loading gear in his on his forehead right now.
Jackson Hinkle has never read anything by Marx, so and he learns this. I don't know. This guy's an idiot, but it's nothing good. I'm gonna say nothing good.
All right, listen.
Mm-hmm. Well, 1776 will rise again and defeat the Trotskyists.
You are a fucking idiot.
He's such a fucking moron.
This is like just anti-Semitic word salad.
He had no idea how to respond to that.
That's Alex Jones's like crazy scream when he's like yelling, like if he was on Piers Morgan,
he rips the shirt. 1776 will commence again.
Yeah, I love 1776 will rise again. That's like the South will rise again.
He got two different things
The Dark
wrong
Knight
there.
Rises or the Rise of Skywalker. I don't know.
Yeah, they can bring back slavery and everything. It'll be a great revolution.
Somehow 1776 returned again.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just got
amazing. It's so good. It's just Hinkle had no response to any of this nonsense because he, God forbid he actually reads any fucking thing. He's just nods along and be like, "Yep, 1776 Trotsky, 9/11 America."
I will say this about Alex Jones. Unlike most tankies, he actually got the murder weapon of Trotsky right, which is not an ice pick. It's like the Alpine ice axe, which is very different.
Yeah.
I will say, even if I was sitting across from Alex Jones and he said all of that to me, I don't think I would know how to respond.
What do you say?
Yeah, I would slowly back away, like the Homer, like hedge.
Oh, and
meme.
is now no this guy Noah.
This is one of my favorite
Is that
people of all
Midwestern
time.
Marx?
Oh, he's an idiot.
So who are you gonna call, right, to bust the ghost of Trotsky? Is obviously our good friends over at Midwestern Marx. You're right.
My God, would they
he's not
stop?
wrong.
Oh, he has a comment. There's a million links between Trotsky and a neoconservative. A million links in the real world. In his fantasy world, people like Bill Kristol.
Okay, so it was Billy Crystal.
Oh, Bill Kristol. Yeah, okay. Oh,
I don't know
I think he said Billy. I don't know. Maybe
Also,
I just
I'm
like
pretty
City
sure it's
Slickers. I don't know
not-
if I mentioned it.
I'm pretty sure it's not
Somebody-
Bill Crystal.
No,
Okay.
it's Irving
No,
Kristol
no.
who
Yeah.
was in. He was the semi-Trotskyist who became a neocon. He has a son who's a conservative, Bill Kristol.
I can't even get the history right here.
So what I'm talking about is the ideological level and how they think rather than what they say. Although the dishonesty and conflicting stories is similar for both. Both inherently believe that the advanced nations are the future and seek to force it on on others.
What?
Well,
PNAC
I mean, if you never
equals
read
permanent revolution.
Results and Prospects,
Oh
or
my
Permanent
God,
Revolution, that's true.
What does PNAC stand for?
Project for a New
Partnership
American Century.
Century. George W. Bush, the Bush regime's thing in
Oh.
2002. Dude, wow, dude, way to be a millennial. All right, good.
So what they
PMAC.
say doesn't matter. It's the here. Scroll up. Scroll up here. Okay, so
Oh, wait, someone, wait.
what they're
scroll down for
saying
one second.
doesn't matter. It's the ideological, but they're also dishonest. So like where are we? We've collapsed into a nothing argument here.
Right.
This is sophistication that collapses into absolute word salad. I mean, he tried to have a thought, but it just fizzled.
Here he says in how they think rather than what they say. So it's about the methodology, not necessarily what they say.
Yeah, but they're dishonest. So how can he tell what the method is if they're dishonest?
Ah.
Right. Well, I mean, back in the 30s, when Stalin was accusing all the Trotskyists of being fascists, he just thought it was a criminal conspiracy, and there was no program. Didn't matter what the program was. It was just a ruse, a mask for their wrecking and sabotage. And these people have kind of taken it up to the next level. Just saying like, they're neocons now. They're not, or they're neocon fascists and everything, even though like Hinkle and Jones are pretty close to fascism themselves. Like they don't care about the Trotskyist program. It's just like this empty vessel that they can fill with whatever they want.
So comrade Jaded here says Max Chapman, the one pointed to, was hated and rejected by Trotsky, who was strongly defensive of the USSR. You're an idiot who's never read Trotsky. And Noah says,
he's right.
Oh, boom, boom, nice.
Noah says, yeah. Shackman's often called the father of American Trotskyism, and they had a bitter split.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's not true.
James Cannon.
Yes,
James Cannon would be the.
Shackman was important.
Yes,
it's
he
really
was.
James Cannon.
It was James Cannon. Yeah.
Trotsky was not a strong defender of the USSR. However,
Sorry. Okay.
his lies about it abound. He would write articles citing Pravda, and when you look up the Pravda, it says nothing like what he said. He was also part of a plot to overthrow the Soviet government in the lead up to World War II.
Okay, Mr. Furr, you can stop.
Is that where this is from?
That's from the Moscow trials.
Yeah.
It's from Grover Furr.
Oh my god.
And we know that Midwestern Marx has had Grover Furr on their show, and he's like probably the most prominent Stalin apologist, pumping out copy and paste books like defending the Moscow trials shit. So that's where he's getting this, because he doesn't read Trotsky, he just reads morons.
This person's great. We should have this Jade. Yeah.
He explicitly was defending the USSR, and he was the father of American Trotskyism. Then either Americans are as stupid as the stereotype, or Trotsky wouldn't be as classifiable as a Trotskyist. Agreed. I don't think Trotsky himself would have approved of half the Trotskyism that happens in the world.
But
So
how do you make that internally consistent?
So the whole idea that Shackman is representative of Trotsky's ideas is, by your own admission, nonsense.
Yeah.
I think the issue is when I'm using the Marxist view of ideology, which does not rest on the surface of what people say, but instead looks at how ideas are formed. It's
now
deeper.
he's just making. Okay, now he's.
Okay,
getting
then Noah, then you're a Republican. So what do you want?
This comes, Trotsky expelled members from the Fourth International for being anti-Soviet. His ideas from his analysis that no matter how degenerated the USSR was still partly a worker state and thus historically progressive. Thank you, Jaded. Yeah, I'm aware of good
Wow.
shift towards support at the end of his life. Let's be real. There's no such thing as the Fourth International, though.
What?
I mean, there's actually
my-
a bunch of them, but whatever.
Oh my God. Wow. We need to send this person like a bottle of wine. All right. Thank you, Jaden. What's the handle on there? She's not listening. Who cares? But maybe we should send her on an article. I don't.
I'll DM her a link to our.
Okay. Way to
yeah.
go. You get the official Left Opposition Hero of the Week award. All right.
An order of Lenin to Comrade Alf
my God,
Kebab
I
on
know
Twitter.
Yep. I don't have a bottle of wine to send you, by the way. So you're going to have to take that.
Anyway, this guy's right. Alf Kebab and all the other Trotskyists that have been dunking on you through the floor already know the father of American Trotskyism is, and sure as shit ain't Shachtman. Why do you try this shit?
All right. Professional wrecker at Way to go, Twitter. Way to go, comrades. 2 orders of Lenin coming up.
Truly wacky fucking take on Shachtman, the father of American Trotskyism.
I mean, anyone who's like read the history to any degree would know that this is crap, but Noah and his circle,
I love it.
they're just talking among like the blind talking to the deaf or whatever.
Can you please scroll that way? Wait, Aaron, read the bottom thing too. This is better. Oh, this thread is great. This is gold, folks. I hope this translates over to a podcast.
This person Googled father of American Trotskyism, James Patrick Cannon.
Yeah.
It's known as the father of American Trotskyism. He had all this Noah guy could have done is use Google and he would have found out who it is.
He can't be bothered because he hates Trotsky and Trotskyism.
He also can't read. I've gotten in arguments with him where he couldn't read a table of contents. And I'm just like, if you can't even do that, I'm not even talking to read the book. You can't even read a table of contents, Noah.
Is he like the Marxist theoretician of that party or whatever?
He's one of them. There's like
oh God. Huh?
I mean, they need a bunch of them to make sure they equal one brain. So
one of the job titles.
Party is this?
One of the job titles over at Midwestern Marx is literally philosopher.
Good. I could put me on the payroll. I'll think about dumb shit too and write stuff on Twitter and say Max Chapman is the father of American Trotskyism. And then I'll try to get a paycheck.
There you go, Irving Kristol. I just typed in Bill Kristol Trotskyism and I get Irving Kristol.
Oh, wait, his middle name. Oh, his middle name is William. So we're probably okay. Nah, we've solved the mystery.
He got old Billy. He calls him Bill. That's cool.
Okay.
He's on a middle name basis.
Okay. Oh, well, they're good friends there. I mean, all sorts of right wingers should be friends with each other. So that's great.
It'd be like if the way they're talking, like it'd be like if some of us were to go around start calling I don't know, like the Republican Stalinist or something.
Right.
It's like it's wrong. They're not Stalinist. They're bourgeois, imperialist, conservative, reactionary, but they're not Stalinist.
Right.
And we would get rightfully dunked on if we did that.
Yeah, there's plenty of liberals who will do that. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, they were doing that like at the women's marches. I remember in 2017, holding up like GOP with like the hammer and sickle. It's like Soviet Union isn't even around anymore. At least get your shitty propaganda right.
Well, did you know, Doug, that Putin was in the KGB, which means he's a communist?
Yeah,
he's a secret Marxist-Leninist. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to our good friend Haas.
Yeah, it's a Marxist-Leninist subconscious. That's what he said.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. No, wait.
Even though in that very interview, Putin said, we got rid of the Soviet Union. We're a market economy, and where's bourgeoisie now?
But
I'm a Putinist Gorbachevist.
Okay, so I have a news article here. I'll share it with let's see here. How many of you know who Tom Cotton is? Any of you ever hear of the guy before? Might have.
Canada.
All right. So for people who may not know who this person is, he's a member of a thing called the Senate, which is a very high and prestigious job in this country, or so I was told in 3rd grade. So he had a problem with some of these protests that have been going on. Now, just a little background. Arkansas is the 6th highest rate of poverty in the country. It has a Republican governor and a Republican legislator, and it's 16% poverty rate. But, this guy, he's got some ideas about how he's going to run. So if you were protesting any of the stuff going on, this is what he said about the protest that was on a bridge recently. It's on Fox News. If something like this happened in Arkansas on a bridge there, let's just say there would have been a lot of wet criminals that would have been tossed overboard, not by law enforcement, but by people whose road they are blocking. And then Cotton continues to, and then it goes on. Cotton continues to stress there needs to be an end to the protesters as he encouraged others to, quote, take matters into their own hands, quote. Senator Cotton then said, I think that's the way we would handle in Arkansas. I would encourage most people anywhere that get stuck behind criminals like this who are trying to block traffic to take matters into their own hands. It's time to put an end to this nonsense. So, a United States senator is openly calling for violence. This is your Republican Party. This is Tom Cotton. And like I said, Arkansas, a poor state that embraced Republicanism and it's got poverty, and they're calling for violence. So, yeah. So much for free speech. I mean, huh?
They're tapping into a long American tradition, you know, where of calling for like this kind of vigilante, quote unquote, justice. You know, and you obviously saw that, you know, in the South, you know, with like the Klan and lynchings. And, you know, they encouraged that type of stuff, you know, during the 60s against the anti-war movement, etc. And this is really this sounds just like, you know, anti-communist, like libertarians who say, oh, throw them out of a helicopter, like what Pinochet did to like dissidents in Chile. The same kind of talk.
Even if you take the politics out of this and like, just imagine this is just like a guy, you know, reacting to it. It's like,
hey, Bob, how's it going?
This is a psychotic reaction to a traffic impediment. And it's like, dude, the cops block traffic, construction workers block traffic.
Ducks.
Fucking,
I had some ducks block me today.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. Right. Would he say
some geese
ducks?
earlier
Would
today
he be
when I
like,
was getting my
fucking
smoothie?
throw those ducks overboard? Like, fucking
It'll
run
land
them
in the
down.
water and
Like,
swim away.
it's insane. You would, yeah, right. Anyone else, you'd be like, you okay, man? Like, what? It's just a bridge. Like,
yeah, like you'll just be
relate?
delayed
Oh, no.
like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, okay, if you miss something, they'll be.
Where's he got to be? Like,
yeah.
What's he in a rush for?
Yeah.
All the driving Tom
You're a
Cotton.
fucking politician.
One thing I thought was interesting too, he used the word criminals to describe the protesters. Criminals. This is the danger. Like I said, if it was like, you know, Joe was saying, if this was just some guy that like your coworker who would say, we're gonna throw him off the bridge and we're gonna, you'd be like, okay, dude, I'm gonna go back to work. You you go drown some kittens when you get home. But no, this is calling people, a senator calling peaceful protesters criminals, and for them to be killed. Because if you get thrown off a bridge, you could die, and that's assault, and you can't do that. But if you're inconvenienced while going to McDonald's, you know, you should try to murder them. Holy God. And if this was, we wouldn't handle this, and I think it would be the way we would handle it in Arkansas. Dude, why don't you fix your state, dude? Why don't you give health care to your people? Why not have 16% poverty rate? Focus on fixing Arkansas, Mr. Cotton, not people protesting a genocide.
Yeah. You know, I'm seeing a lot of that with the campus protests now, where they're just calling it violent. Like they're just saying these people are doing violence. They want to do violence to Jews, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, like there's a very specific like intent with this. You know, you're not saying that because you're confused and you think it's happening, or like, you know, you're just trying to troll them or something like that. That is a call for either state violence or vigilante violence, or both.
Yeah,
Right.
there's just tweet after tweet of ghouls like this guy who constantly say how much anti-Semitism there is happening on campus right now.
Yeah.
And just there's not a single incident has been documented or anyone has come forward, or nothing's been recorded. Like everything is being recorded at these things, right?
Well, that was an anti-Semitic Seder they had at Columbia, so checkmate.
Yeah, obviously these weren't Jews. They were culturally appropriating Seder.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of this shit.
5 seconds till Alex Jones calls it a false flag, a false cedar, false plate.
Maybe the real false flag were the false flags we made along the way.
Considering that's his entire show content, I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
All right. Well, so that's for them. So next I have now this is a little bit of a dated article. So this is from October last year. During this is about a month after October, September 7th or yeah, sorry. I should know that date. They say it every
October
goddamn day.
7th, that locks the flood. Just say
October, you're right. So so what had happened was there was some protests about what had been going on already. Obviously, it's not like things were all perfect for people in Gaza. You know, they've been massacred during the March of Return. They've been bombed. They've been forced to live in poverty. You know, 98% of the water was undrinkable. You know, we can go on about how bad things were in Gaza thanks to the Israeli apartheid government. So what happened was, and I'm reading from an MSNBC news article here, and so this is from AOC, a member of the DSA. So, and this is what I want to clip this thing right here. The rally had been promoted by Democratic Socialist America, a left wing, I don't want to correct it, the New York branch of the Democratic Socialist of America, a left wing group that helped elect Ocasio-Cortez and other progressives. But it faced criticism from one of its own elected officials for endorsing the event, which was even held before Israel had been able to count the dead. It should not be hard to shut down hatred and anti-Semitism where we see it. This is a core tenet of solidarity. AOC said in a statement first shared with Political, and then she quoted again, "The bigotry and callousness expressed in Times Square on Sunday were unacceptable and harmful in this devastating moment." The congresswoman continued, "It did not speak," in quote, "it did not speak for the thousands of New Yorkers who are capable of rejecting both Hamas's horrifying attacks against innocent civilians as well as the grave injustices and violence Palestinians face under occupation."
Right. So blah blah blah, anti-Semitism, blah blah blah, both sides.
Right. Right. This is absurd.
But so this is a bit of a dated article. Has she since shifted her position on this, or
right?
Have her supporters by chance hounded her out of a movie theater because she refused?
She was actually hounded out of a theater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's true. She's had some rhetorical stuff for this, like crying crocodile tears for what's going on in Gaza. But she has a history, if you look at her record, of voting to fund the Israeli Defense Forces. And she's condemned these protests here. And well, she has shifted in a sense, like she's come out for the re-election of Biden multiple times. She was posing with him, with sunglasses, saying he's like one of the most progressive and successful presidents in American history. Even, she does all that kind of stuff. And the DSA re-endorsed her.
Yeah, she just took a photo with was it Ed Markey and Joe Biden a couple days ago. Like she just took a photo with them, and now like this is this week. You are siding with Genocide Joe. Nice, there you go. This man should be a pariah to anybody who has a conscience in this country. Like this guy has the blood of 44,000 civilians on his hands.
Yeah,
sorry. Wow.
Here in Ontario, they banned the keffiyeh cloth to be worn in solidarity with Palestinians in the Queen's Park in our provincial legislature. And my representative showed up wearing one anyway, and they told her to leave. And she's like, "No, fuck you!" Like, she's shout out to Sarah Jama, just so much more bravery and integrity than any one of these DSA endorsed so-called Democratic Socialists.
Remember who was was there a Republican in the United States Congress who wore like an IDF uniform? Like, does anyone remember that? It was this weirdo. I don't think he was even a soldier.
No, Brian Mast, I think.
Was that the guy? Like, yeah. Okay, so you can't wear a keffiyeh, right?
It was Brian Mast.
Yeah, but so this guy like I said, the Israeli occupation forces, which has murdered 44,000 civilians, probably more once we know the full count. But that's okay. But the keffiyeh is bad. Got it. Yes. Okay. One's elite. One gets you thrown out. One doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Protesting against genocide, but supporting a genocide is a-okay in our legislature.
Right. And he voted to give what was another $40 billion to Israel to carry out his genocide. So that's good. Way to go. You're doing it.
And she just recently, like how many days ago?
The photo?
2 days ago, she oh, never mind. She voted against military aid.
Yeah, but she voted
Israel.
for it for Ukraine. So
What, Doug?
In Taiwan.
Why don't you want to arm Ukrainian Nazis? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with the ass up battalion? You know,
that's also something else that kind of gets me. All the people who scream about anti-Semitism,
literally arm Nazis.
They're all arming for arming Ukrainian Nazis and applauding them, like, you know, if they appear in like a parliament somewhere.
You know, I'm just letting you know, any of you people who are socialists, if you went to the Azov battalion, go, hi, you know, I'm a Marxist, or I'm a socialist, or I'm an anarchist, they'd line you up against the wall and they'd shoot you because they're Nazis. They hate us. They hate you. They like the money we give you, but like, way to go. Jesus, God Almighty.
Yeah, it was like that guy in Canada that Parliament honored or whatever. And they were like, oops, we didn't know he was a Nazi. Meanwhile, his battalion was called like Waffen SS 1488 or something. It was like
something, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they said he was fighting against Russia, you know. Now, that could have meant a lot of things in World War II. Now, I'm an historian, now we all read books, but there was a third secret front. There was the Nazis fighting Russia, and then this guy, he was a lone wolf who happened to wear an SS uniform while doing it. He wasn't a Nazi, though. It's okay. Don't worry.
He was a hardcore Trotskyist.
Yeah, he was an anti-Stalinist, which makes him.
It's actually Max Chapman. Max Chapman was actually wearing because he hates the Soviet Union. So yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So wear keffiyeh and get kicked out of a legislator, but yeah, if you are literally a member of an SS division from World War II, you get $600 million in federal aid. Perfect. That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Good job,
we're shutting down. We're laying off 20 teachers in the town next to me. So yeah. I'm glad we could send F-15 fighters. Meanwhile, the firefighter station also might shut down in my town. It's a budget crisis, and the library has reduced hours. But I'm glad $43 billion went to Israel. I'm
sure the free market will solve that.
Yes. But I don't know how we're going to do about the firefighter station, but I'm sure the free market will somehow keep my basic government services running. Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, you'll have like a, the fire department will work like fucking Comcast.
They'll give you a window.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't paid your bill. You better, like, my house is on fire.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
we don't want that Marxist fire station there. It's not, but you get the point.
So yeah, let's talk about these protests then on campus. Let's talk about something truly amazing going on. It started at Columbia. 100 students got arrested, which triggered an avalanche of more occupations and more student movements. And it surely is something. This definitely feels like a qualitative change in the pro-Palestinian movement. I would really like to see this evolve into like a second sort of like Occupy movement. I know Doug and Chris, you guys have experience with. Oh yeah, with
we
Occupy.
Were around in the early days of that too. I'll just say this, as someone who's in the early days of Occupy Boston, I was also in a few smaller town ones, but Occupy Boston, this is very, very similar. It's weird. How long has it been? It's 13 years now.
Almost 13 years. Yeah.
Gosh, man, we're getting old. But like, yeah, it was an amazing time. It was an exciting. I'll say this though, the difference is there was very little hostility towards the public in the early days of this versus what's going now. There is immediate hostility towards them.
The other thing that's
Israel
also
is a different beast.
Right.
Like at the very, very beginning of Occupy Boston, even among a lot of the occupiers, there was no bad blood to the police until like they started raiding the camps.
Right.
Then that changed. There's been immediate hostility from the police here. And also, unlike the Occupy movement, they have like very clear demands that they've put forward. Now, I have a friend of mine who went to one of these, protest, like these encampments at one of the universities, and has relayed to me that they're actually like well organized, they're checking people who come in. And so it's like much more organized than Occupy, which didn't really have like a really good central like leadership, and everything kind of got dispersed to like local working groups. So in this case, like I think like they're actually like they've progressed beyond like some of the weaknesses of Occupy, at least based on like what I've heard from people who've been there.
That's
Right.
really
I think
that's
that's a good point. I want to say
that's
too
really exciting
about
to
that.
hear.
Yeah, I would say too, like, yeah, there is a lot more like what's different was so I was there the night at Occupy Boston when they did the first raid. They raided, there was two encampments.
Right.
One was in Dewey Square, one was down there. So this is when the thugs in blue came down. They had their riot gear and stuff, and they mass arrest about 132 people. I remember seeing Veterans for Peace get assaulted by one of those thugs that night too. And they did a mass arrest, and then they stopped there. You know, that was their first move to do it. There was no organized resistance. There was like, I was trying to tell people, hey, we should be doing stuff. Maybe. And then someone called me a cop, agent provocateur, and I'm like, okay, but forget it. So, but this time what I'm seeing, I saw at Emerson College, is that they know to form a line, stand together. They have umbrellas. Like, they seem to have a better self-defense to them, because when state violence comes down in a liberal state with a liberal governor, with a liberal mayor, they came down and did it. And I'll tell you this, when we got raided in 2004, we had a Democratic governor, a Democratic mayor, and a Democratic president, just like we do now. The Democrats are allowing this to happen. Way to go, DSA. Your buddies are letting this happen. So vote Biden and everyone else, because the other guys are worse.
They can't be stressed hard enough.
So not great. But what do you expect? But I am like, it was an MIT, Emerson, Tufts University all around here. So that has been great.
And
I'm
Harvard.
really happy. And where?
Harvard.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, of course. Yeah, and Harvard, too. Yeah, the bastion of anti-Semitism there. Like, I like how the Republicans in their hair, they thought they really, by getting all the presidents fired, they thought they could stop this movement.
Yeah.
They can bring you up to Congress. They can yell at you. They can make their little speech, and Fox News can give themselves a little pat on the back. But you can't stop the movement by doing it, because these presidents were not the people. No, I'm glad to see the students are like, way to go, Zoomers, young people. Keep up the good
fucking like university presidents aren't like protesting for Palestine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? Because like we were talking about this earlier, Joe. Columbia is home to the 1968 student protests against the Vietnam War, and they were 100% correct to do so then. I assume that was cracked down with state violence as well, right? I mean, we had Kent State in Ohio with five students murdered by the National Guard.
The thing about Columbia too that I was seeing is that they have fucking plaques and shit, like commemorating and like taking pride in this history.
They embrace they embrace that history.
I mean, there's like a myth if you're a Republican or just like very uninformed, which means you're a Republican and a liberal for that matter, but that students are like this hotbed or the universities are like this hotbed of radicalism, like at every level, from like the professors to like the administration to the student bodies. And yeah, there are some radicals on campuses, but most of the professors, even the ones who call themselves Marxists, are really not that radical, really not that Marxist. And the administrators are tied in just as much with like, bourgeois institutions as any other, institution in society.
This right here, you can see in action the difference between a material analysis and an ideal analysis. And I mean, the ideal and material are not polar opposites, but at the same time, the way that the discourse drops, you have liberals who talk about the ideals of the campus, the history of the campus, this and this and this, while you have the actual president and, the money donors who demand this and this policy, and who wins out. The dollar sign every time, not the ideas.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I want to bring up related to this too. So I'm Doug and I and Joe are from New England, and I am a big fan of the New England Patriots. Well, not lately; they suck now. But so Robert Kraft is the billionaire owner of the New England Patriots, and I'll just say this: if he's not getting arrested for getting rub-and tugs in Florida, he's actually said he's going to withdraw money from Columbia University. So yes, nothing like having a billionaire saying that it was only like $3 million. It was some small amount, but this is what he said too. I am deeply saddened at the virulent hate that continues to grow on campus and throughout the country, Kraft said in a statement. Through his foundation to combat anti-Semitism. I am no longer confident that Columbia can protect its students and staff, and I am not comfortable supporting the university until corrective action is taken. There we go. And then he later went on to say, I think back went to Columbia. The Vietnam War was raging and people spoke out and they paid the consequences, but they were willing to do it. They didn't wear masks and they had accountability, and now we have to have accountability. Gee, Mr. Billionaire, rub and tug guy, why do you think they're wearing masks? Oh yeah, because they're gonna get suspended and they're gonna lose, and they're paying a lot of money to go to. They'll be in debt until they're 75 years old, dude. And they want to get an education, and that's a good thing. And they're using their democratic right to protest a genocide that you support and that you disrespect Jews everywhere when you call it's anti-Semitism, dude. No, it's not. It's genocide they're protesting. There are Jewish students for peace who lead these things, dude. I've been to protest, and I'm always seeing them out leading the charge. So no, I'm sorry. Don't, my God. Yeah, whatever. And he's friends with Henry Kissinger, too. He used to have him sitting with him in his box. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If you don't know England Patriots, those two guys.
I know nothing about sports.
Oh yeah.
But from the spatterings of sports politics, I get it is actually quite fascinating. Here's a really interesting take from Hampton Institute, which I think is generally pretty based.
Yeah, they're pretty good overall.
I like them.
Sons and daughters of the privileged class are leading the charge against genocide, a cause that ultimately represents working class interests. So in a sense, they are serving as class traitors, whether they consciously understand the class implications or not. I think that's kind of, I hadn't thought of it that way. Generally, you have to be pretty privileged to be able to attend university.
Oh, now, it's World War II. Yeah.
The difference here, though, is like the student protests and the anti-war movement during Vietnam really broke out just because it was a war on the working class, because the working class was getting drafted. That was the last time the draft was instituted in the United States. Whereas we don't have that now. We have like a poverty draft, so that like there'll always be a massive supply of desperate poor people to join the military. Now, so that's what I think is sort of the difference here. This isn't a military draft, but these privileged students are still going to be inundated with an insane amount of student debt, potentially for the rest of their lives. And so to link this movement against Palestine to working class interests, I think would be like a really, really great step forward, especially if labor can step in. And we are seeing elements of labor step in when Columbia, so far, I think, has been the only, New York University. After the administration threatened arrest, New York University's Gaza Solidarity encampment is surrounded by faculty protecting student protesters from further escalation.
All right.
Woo! That's awesome.
Man, that is nice. And this is what they're trying to suppress. This is what the government, Fox News, CNN, all these people, they're against all of this stuff. So, wow, way to go.
Meanwhile, when fucking Nazis marched in 2017,
they weren't
nothing happened, right? Like,
blocking our sacred roads. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, they didn't.
I saw Fetterman like comparing the two and saying like, "Oh, send in the fucking whatever." I'm like, dude, if you think they're the same, why don't you want to just do nothing again? Like,
yeah. Like when the Unite the Right Nazi rally happened, I didn't see a lot of condemnation about it. No, I didn't see a massive police presence. No, I didn't see that. No.
Something else to point out about the privilege point, and I think it's actually very important, is I agree with that Hampton Institute quote, but it also kind of shows you like how like the kind of radical liberals, quasi-Marxist use of privilege, when they use it, it's not to, they think like privilege is like the mark of Cain. It's something you can never escape. You're forever corrupted. You're forever, you have original sin. You can never escape it. And that's just not true. I mean, as materialists, we know that there's all kinds of factors that operate on people, and that like the alignments of people are not like fixed in advance. So in this case, yeah, those people are challenging like Zionism. They're challenging U.S. support for genocide. That's a good thing. That's the thing we support. Yeah. And it kind of shows you like, that they're not forever, beyond like the reach of like better politics. So like this whole kind of radical liberal, almost third world is, oh, everyone in America is corrupt, they're all bought off. It's just not true. And we've seen it not just in this instance, but we've seen it throughout history. You know, it was Columbia and other elite universities in the 60s who were playing parts in the anti-Vietnam War struggle and even in the civil rights movement and other struggles. And are we going to condemn that? I'd hope not.
You know, like I said, for all of us who are around for the Occupy movement, this is really making us feel good again to see this, because I think young people, like they're banning, like I said, they have the government ban TikTok to go after kids because they like these, it's mostly Republicans and some of the useless Democrats, but they think, well, if we attack, you know, university presidents, we go after TikTok, we show up with cops, we're going to defeat all this and they're going to show up and vote for us next year. Like, there's a pushback, and it's this time it's physical. Remember, the violence is being brought by the state. You know, the police are instigating the violence. They're using force. So remember, they started. They always do, and then they're going to blame us for it. So
yeah. I mean, and the point about it being reminiscent of Occupy is interesting because it, in some ways, it feels like, oh, Occupy is back. Finally, we have some of that energy again, and I kind of find myself forgetting and then remembering that, you know, Marx describes this, the history builds on itself, and this is a continuation of Occupy. And like we were saying earlier, they're these kids are more sophisticated about how they're approaching this. So it's you know, as ugly as things are in the moment, like this is a good sign, I think.
And I see. Oh God, Aaron, you have a clip here.
You know, it doesn't do much to say Republicans are hypocrites because, like, who gives a shit? Obviously, like that just goes without saying. But this is just kind of funny. This is Greg Abbott in 2019. So this is Texas governor.
Yeah, Texas governor. He's the one who puts up barbed wire and kills migrants. Yeah, right, I know.
Yeah. This is 2000
wire guy.
This is 2019.
Yep.
Some colleges are banning free speech on college campuses.
Oh.
No more, because I'm about to sign a law that protects free speech on college campuses in Texas.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott.
All right, Mr. Abbott.
Shouldn't have to do it. First Amendment guarantees it. Now it's law in Texas.
Wait, the
Great,
First Amendment is already law?
Until I sign it.
Wait, what did this idiot sign?
I don't know. It's a piece of paper. It's whatever. It's a piece of paper.
Is the law already since 1789, moron? Like, what the fuck? Come on, seriously? And this guy, governor. Oh my God, do you have like shit for brains to like be in a high office now? Like, the First Amendment law.
It's not. Yeah. Again, it's not about the idea. It's about he's giving his law enforcement cover to go after people who are perceived to be suppressing conservative speech on campus. It has a real history. He's not going to tell you what the history is and what the intent is. He's just going to give you universals. I'm for free speech, end of speech, and that's it. But on the ground, what you're going to see is very much what the agenda is.
I mean, like the original context behind this, real quick, is you know, students really don't want Ben Shapiro and Milo Yabba.
Oh, that was
Yabba Dabba Dim Dong, whatever his name is.
Alt-right people.
Like students didn't want to be forced to fucking listen to these clowns. And that's what that law is about. Is, you know, we have to protect free speech because there's anti-conservative bias on campus.
So are you trying to tell me that Governor Abbott like sent in the National Guard to like college campuses or something? Because that would just be really stupid. If
it would be crazy. It would be crazy if you sent in state troopers for protesting a genocide. But you know, here we are.
Yeah. Oh,
wow!
What
are you gonna say, Joe?
Did. Well. Jesus. The hypocrisy of like the far right is just like like they're immune to it. You can show them clips and they're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So what do you do about it? That's the beauty of it.
Oh,
Right.
That's what I was gonna say is like, people love to talk in these like absolutist, like this is a principle that I evenly apply, and of course no one does that with anything, because that's not how the fucking world works. So then, they see Marxists, whether it's a revolution or what, in some way, like condoning or accepting a violent act, and it's like, oh, see, you're violent, and it's like, yeah, but so are you fucking like, you're okay with violence that upholds this. I'm not. So if I have to use violence to end your fucking nightmare, like I might have to resort to that. But like, yeah, it's fucking it's really insane. Wow. It pisses me off so much. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's
and like
so
how do people just not see through this bullshit? Like, look at this footage.
I don't think they care about free speech. I think they only care about their speech. Yeah. And the only time they protect quote unquote free speech is when it's like an alt-right or a neo-Nazi march. Then they care. But if you say, hey, I have a sign and I'm like sitting here on the steps saying ceasefire now. Well, it seems here that we see these thugs in literal brown shirts, Texas. Oh, wow, they're literally brown shirts, beating up kids. Way to go. You're beating up kids. Nice going, guys. Way to go.
Ceasefire now. Why are you calling for violence?
Yeah, I know. What are you doing? Stop resisting.
Right. Wow. It's like, the like everything is violence. It's like the government is violent. The police are violent. The military is violent. We support violence from Israel. And then if you do anything that suggests, because people see a big crowd and like, oh no, what are they going to do? And it's like, oh, now it's a problem that there's a suggestion, a possibility of a hypothetical, theoretical violence, and that better stop. That's always been a violence.
That's always been a way for the U.S. to stop dissent of any sort. Like during the Red Scare of the 40s and 50s, they passed the Smith Act, which made it a crime to advocate for the violent overthrow of the government. It wasn't saying that they were doing anything. It was saying, oh, you're talking about maybe you're going to do it, so therefore we can arrest all you commies.
Yeah,
which they
did.
That's
you gotta talk like the whitest kids you know sketch. It's illegal to say I'm going to kill the president.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The password is 6 Semper Tyrannis. That's all I'm saying. R.I.P. to Trevor Moore. Yeah, a great one.
He was so good.
Oh my God, I loved him. He was actually he was very left wing in some of his skits I've seen. Like, I was impressed about like him on the bus talking about socialism and stuff, and it was pretty good. And the whole skit they did about pledging allegiance to the flag, which was pretty good to have a bunch of kids doing it. But
I should go back and rewatch that shit because like that does sound vaguely familiar, but I was not too politically conscious to pick up on it.
Okay.
So we got a couple of superstars here who also have their own takes on college campus protests. First one is from renowned girl boss Nancy Pelosi, who we all love.
God, why is she still here?
So yeah, again, like Republicans fucking suck on this. I mean, like every single person in power is just absolute dog shit when it comes to being on the right side of history, and they're just incapable.
Well, it's Nancy Pelosi. How bad could it be?
Yeah, sure. Like, what's she gonna say? What could she possibly say?
As AOC calls her Mama Bear, so
she's gonna say the usual. Oh, there's anti-Semitism, there's violence on campus, and I condemn it.
Well, look, if a DSA member AOC calls her Mama Bear,
hey, what's this flag in the background here?
Ireland. It's RTE News is Ireland.
Oh, interesting.
I'm an Irish citizen, so I know these things. There you go.
So it's funny how the pro-Palestinian protests would pop up.
Interesting. I wonder if the Ireland knows anything about oppression.
Hecklers are saying about Joe Biden, the label genocide. Joe, could that could support for Israel cost Democrats the election this fall?
Well, it's interesting to me that you use that term, because that's what we see at 3 o'clock in the morning outside of our house, flashing.
Nice.
Good.
She's so mad that they're at her house.
That says that. And he has been, as I say, the force for humanitarian assistance to them. He now is calling
Where?
for the ceasefire. Who's resisting the ceasefire at this point is Hamas. Remember, Hamas is a terrorist organization in our view. Hamas has...
Yeah, that you labeled them as.
Right.
Yeah, the Israeli Defense Forces, however, are not. So, okay.
Yeah.
What about
I
the
just
West
hate
Bank,
that-
lady?
Yeah, and I hate that people say that as if it means anything. Like, well, they're a terrorist group. Okay, what
Says
is
who?
that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The
What does
Houthi
that fucking
rebels
tell me?
are
People
now
use
a terrorist
criminal and
group.
criminalization in the same way, yeah. And
Yeah.
and I always shoot back at them, yes, but who is criminalizing them? And of course, they're
Right. It's always, it's, I mean, my God, who created Hamas, by the way? Does Nancy know who, actively, there's a guy named Netanyahu. Don't know if you heard the name, but his group was actually funding and supporting Hamas because they didn't want the PLO to gain too much power. But maybe Nancy could go after, Netanyahu.
Who always
on
forgets
that.
that.
Yeah.
in its charter the destruction of the state of Israel. So this
Nope,
is
that's also not true. That's a complete lie. That is not in their fucking charter. I've read
How
it.
dare you call Senator Pelosi a liar? She is a good person. All right. I don't know about that. I don't read newspapers. but-
Actually, no, that might be wrong. Maybe they are calling for the destruction of the state of Israel, but there are people who are saying Hamas is calling for the eradication of Jews, which is not true.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think okay, I fucked that up. Yeah, yeah. So that gets often misinterpreted as Hamas calling for the destruction of Jews, but they might be calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. Which, if you ask anyone, well, what does that mean, and what are you planning to replace it with? It would be a democratic state of equal rights across the board,
Socialist state.
that's what Hamas. Well, that's what Hamas is called for. They have not.
Oh, damn. Oh.
They have
okay.
not explicitly
Not us.
called for a socialist, a socialist worker state. That would be us, Western leftoids. God, I'm still reeling about that Rathbone video from last.
We just listened to it on the car ride to the gym, and yeah, I know it's he's an Eastern Marxism. Marxism is much different in the East versus the West. You may think they're similar, but no, Marxism has, and there's also a Southern one and a Northern. There's 4 different versions of them. So
What about the Northeast? Isn't there New England Marxism?
the Northeast
California
Marxism,
Marxism?
they're like they kind of moved to the right. They're kind of like Cliffites now. It got weird,
that's
but
too bad.
now
It's
they're
like-
back Cliffite. Now it's weird. I don't
It's
know.
like the blues. There's like Tennessee blues and Chicago blues,
Right. The Southwest one.
Yeah.
I have no respect for Southwestern Marxists, dude. I don't know what you're doing in the Southwestern part of the world, but get it together, Australia. All right.
What about the
Oh,
Midwestern?
well, 1776 will rise again.
yeah, that's right. We have the prophetic Marxist Jackson Hinkle on that one.
Oh my God.
All right.
Fucking, oh God, there's nothing going on in his head. There's
No.
nothing. It's
No.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, this
This
continues.
He's
All
just
right.
he's just repeating everything Alex Jones says to him.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's called mirroring. If you get through conversations with your significant other,
oh, that's genius. Here I am treating my partner like a human being.
Wow. Sure, we'll go to Mike. We'll go to the craft store
You
again.
animal.
Why not? I love go to the Michaels.
We're running into the trouble of having all men on this show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know. These ladies, I tell you. Oh man, what's going on here?
Don't
huh?
worry, post production will fix that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Make one of our voices higher to sound like a woman.
All right, we'll start with Nancy. We'll finish the Nancy Pelosi clip. All right.
Just do my Nancy Pelosi voice.
more complicated. In terms of your question about the election, it's in Putin's interest for what's his name to win, and therefore I see some encouragement on the part of the Russians of some of what's going on. I trust the sincerity.
Yeah. She fucking.
Are you kidding me?
She owned Trump there. She didn't. She refused to say his name. It's amazing.
I know.
Then she
Oh,
Russia
she's so fucking awesome.
Oh, everything I don't like is a Russian agent.
Right. It's
Exactly.
not that Joe Biden is giving billions of our tax dollars to a genocide being carried out over the last 7 months, which has killed 44,000 civilians. That's not the problem. It's Putin. Okay, this is how deranged the Democrats are. Really, they're like
And you bring it up to them, and they start quibbling over numbers. Oh, it wasn't 40,000; it was 30. Like,
well, 6,000
whether it was
were
34,000 or 40,000. It makes a difference to you. Okay, I can support 34,000. In the gas chambers, but not 40,000. No, that's a bridge too far.
Can I just be honest too? Like, let's just say this. Let's say the number gets to 600,000. This would be the same thing they're saying now. It could be 700,000. They will still justify everything that's going on.
6 million.
They don't care. They clearly do not
say
care how many children, which is 14,450, have been killed.
Yeah.
If it was,
Wasn't
they
it
don't care.
500,000 in Iraq during the 90s? 500,000, and Madeleine Albright came out and was directly asked, and she said, "Yeah, that price is worth it."
She said it was worth it. Were the sanctions worth it? She goes, yes,
sure.
it was.
Yeah.
This is not new ground we're watching happening over and over again. This is the latest iteration of it. This isn't the end of American democracy. There never was any such thing, and if there was, it certainly didn't exist in the 90s during the Iraq War. Let me tell you.
That's the thing, is like, people have been saying this already, but it's like you really can't support this unless you just don't think Arabs are people. That's really the whole fucking thing it comes down to.
In a nutshell.
These are the same people decrying election fraud and Putin. Like, they were the first ones to call Trump's election. They're crying about election fraud and interference, and how Trump's election wasn't legitimate. And so, like, they shouldn't be shocked when Trump turned around and did it.
Process. Rachel Maddow was on it. If she thought everything was a distraction from the real contents of the Mueller report, it was a complete conspiracy nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, remember
I
when
had stopped watching TV because of that crap.
Yeah. Remember when the Mueller report found that Trump did collude with Israel, and then both parties covered it up?
Well, there are allies. That's different. Let's see. I want to see what else, Miss United States Senator, multi-millionaire.
Demonstrators. It's organic. It's spontaneous. It's real, but some of it, I think, has a Russian tinge to it. In terms of the election, people have to decide. Do you want to save the planet? What's his name doesn't. Do you want to save your personal liberties, women's right to choose, LGBTQ? Do you want to protect the children from gun violence? Do you want to protect our Constitution, our democracy? That's really what's on the ballot. In addition
right to choose went out under y'all's watch. That's number one. Roe v. Wade is gone. That's number one. Number two, free speech and all that. Meanwhile, like, jackboots all over American campuses. I mean, you can go on, and someone please do finish the list.
One thing, did you catch how she said we need to protect democracy? You might have heard. I heard that, right? She did say we need to protect it.
Protect democracy, protect the Constitution.
That's interesting, because last I checked, Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, refused to hold primaries for the thing. It was Marianne Williamson and the other dean, whoever he was, but they didn't. Wow. So if you care about democracy, why didn't you have any debates during the primary? Why did you have any, if you're in favor of democracy, that sounds fair, but you didn't, did you? No.
Because this
was
is
just
the most
another coronation event,
election
because you don't care about democracy.
in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And you have to vote and vote harder.
Yeah, I know. Like 3 states, I think, didn't hold. But
it's funny.
They didn't put other
it's
people
funny,
on the ballot. Wow.
It's funny to say that for those who care about the planet. Fortunately, Hillary's got her back here.
Oh, well, that's good.
What's at stake for our climate in this November's elections? Absolutely
She really posted
everything.
this?
She really posted this. This is so we're looking
This
at
is what she posted, and this isn't like someone put a meat.
How is she still even in the picture? My God. Last time I looked, she wrote a book called "What Happened."
Well, she answered it in the time, like with the author name.
You lost. That's what happened. Anyway, so she posted a chart called
really
by Carbon Brief. It shows.
Yeah.
It says a Trump election win would add 4 billion tons to U.S. emissions by 2030, and so it shows this gray line of
From the 90s
tons
on.
of
We
carbon
see a big line.
dioxide. In the 2000s, it's pretty high, and then it's been steadily going down since about 2006, 2007. It's been slowly going down, and then it shows Trump. It kind of steadies out. Biden, it goes slightly down, but then the target is supposed to go all the way down to net zero by 2050.
And he's
so
not
Trump
going to do it.
And so all she did was she posted a chart that shows Trump and Biden are virtually the same in terms of dumping carbon into the atmosphere, and she somehow thought this was
why. I mean, look, if you're
Biden.
going to do propaganda, Miss Clinton here, maybe get rid of the target because that actually doesn't look good.
Can I vote? Can I vote for target?
Can I vote for the yellow line, please? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a perfect encapsulation.
That really is like all you need to know about the Democratic Party. Aren't they a little bit better than Republicans when it comes to some things? Some, sure, but you still didn't fix it. That's the problem. It's still worse. The target's not hit. The planet's screwed up. For the first time, remember last year, all the fires, how we couldn't breathe, we had smoke around us.
Oh
and
God,
Los Angeles was unbreathable. Like certain areas were unbreathable because of all thanks to climate change. But well, at least, it's a little bit better, but you didn't fix it and it's still going to kill us. Jesus God. I mean, if I'm getting surgery, you have to remove all the cancer, not some of the cancer, and go, well, we got some of it,
Yeah.
I mean,
better than none of
the
the
knife all the way
cancer.
out.
The thing is, right now, 2024, they're not even good at the optics of pretending to be for the people. They've done nothing for abortion, nothing for trans and gay rights, nothing for any of this for people who are suffering from inflation, and of course they're backing the genocide to the hilt. And then they have the gall to say look at what's going to happen if Trump gets in. You're doing it all right now.
Yeah, a Washington Post, U.S. oil production hits record under Biden. He seldom mentions it.
See, he's number one. Why do you hate progress, Aaron?
Why doesn't he mention it?
Weird.
He should be proud of that fact. And then, but the planet, wow.
Anyway, anyway, I don't know where to go from here other than our other favorites, idiot.
Oh, my God. This idiot. This is the governor's third trip to Israel. Well, that's good. I'm glad he signed on. And look at that, next to 2 war criminals. Well, it's going. Sweet. Wow. With his 2 brushes. Aaron, I got a link. I just went in the chat. If you want to put that up, it's just quick. It's the last time you saw honesty, really, from a politician like this. But yeah, this is.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Oh.
There we go. It is worth it. 500,000 Iraqi children died from U.S. sanctions, and it's worth it. There's no limit to we can keep pointing out how many children are being killed in Gaza. And
it's funny because the stories are parallel. I remember at the time of the Iraq War, there were false stories planted of incubators being turned off in Iraq, something like that.
In Kuwait, and, the Kuwait story.
Fast forward to October 7th. I'm supposed to know the date as well, but
I know.
And we see false stories. I can't even remember what the false story was. I immediately ruled it out because it came from their public relations machine. But I was like, okay, there it is again, the false story planted. And then the response is like a mushroomed version of that false story in reality.
Yeah, it was the 40 beheaded babies in ovens, babies cut out of the wombs.
Pregnant women.
Yeah.
And now we have 15,000 and counting dead children.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just
that have been confirmed.
The lesser evil is. I'm not voting this election. I'm sorry.
No.
I feel ashamed.
There's a third party. Maybe Cornel West, but I'm not.
Last election, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
I'm voting for Bigfoot. He's gonna.
That's good.
I'm all for Bigfoot.
I mean, can you imagine being a Marxist trying to endorse this shit? You're like, hey, I read Karl Marx. I think this genocide is perfectly fine. Trump's going to do it worse. Wow.
Well, Marx would endorse Biden over Trump.
Yeah. No kidding.
Well, I mean, are you telling me the Communist Party of the United States of America is wrong about that?
Come on, true, touche. You know, what would Sam Webb say about that? You know, I don't know, but probably vote for the Democrats.
I was going to say, like, we're ignoring Trotsky's methodology of a united front and voting against fascism.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, Joe Biden is actually a comrade. That's it. Very true.
Well, you know, Trotskyites rule the world. So
now, speaking of idiots who think Trotskyites rule the world, a friend of the show, maybe not a friend of the show, maybe that's a wrong term, but someone who we talked about on our first episode.
Here we go.
Yeah, he's a recurring character.
Caleb Maupin. Now, if you don't know him, congratulations. I wish I could be like you, but unfortunately, I do know him, and so do we. And Doug spotted this in the wild. You want to read it off to us, Doug?
All right, here we go. Mr. Maupin, because you're not a comrade. I hate to say it, but as someone who supports the Palestinian cause and is glad to see anyone raising awareness about the genocide in Gaza, I've got serious concerns about what is happening on the campuses right now. I smell a sinister hidden agenda. The protests are going out of their way to antagonize and offend as many people as possible, most especially people who agree with them. It's not normal behavior. Something is off.
Oh, no. Do you think him and Nancy Pelosi know something? Holy God.
He's not going to blame Putin because, he's actually paid by the Russian government.
Well, yeah, if it was Putin, he'd be excited.
He's going to blame Soros.
Oh man, God.
He's going to blame them. Triple parentheses.
I wonder who he's going to blame. I know. I want to see who Mr. Red and Brown Alliance guy. I wonder who he's
got a complete conspiratorial mindset. So everything has to have some hidden cause, someone pulling the strings, someone who's a puppet master. And because he's already an anti-Semite, it's going to be triple parentheses. It's going to be Soros. It's going to be someone like that. He'll say the synthetic left. He'll some buzzword, but it's always the Jews with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone should comment on it and say it's the Trotskyites.
You know what? I bet he will say that. But do they point to any specific Trotskyist ever? Like, it's Senator Tim Kaine from, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, who is this? Who are they? Can they name a single?
I want to know who these Trotskyites who rule the world are, because I know I'd like to be employed by them.
Because I know it's the Bush and the Clintons, guilty. But I wonder who in 2024 though. Like they hand the reins of power. Is it maybe Kamala Harris? Maybe she's a secret Trotskyite. Yeah.
Well, I'm reminded of Zizek versus Peterson. Names these Marxist professors.
I like the accent.
That's better than my Maupin impression.
Anyway, but wow, as someone who supports the Palestinian cause, so he does support it.
Oh,
okay,
God.
But didn't he have a protest on Harvard? Actually, if I remember correctly, it was him and a few of his dumb friends there, but I want to say they were in Harvard trying to start a campus. They were literally on, I think it was him, right? Caleb Maupin. There was it was some of these idiots. It was the same day as a protest I was at. That was going on. I can't, man, it was on Harvard though, but the Center for Political Innovation.
He's a false friend anyway. He's everyone who's in the Palestinian solidarity movement knows that anti-Zionism is very distinct from anti-Semitism, which is, why, there are plenty of anti-Zionist Jews like myself. We don't conflate Jews with Israel. We're not the official propaganda who does that. But Maupin is an actual anti-Semite. He's in cahoots with a bunch of fascists and other neo-Nazis, and he's written anti-Semitic books. And so he definitely wants to blame, the Jews or however. And if you want to get an idea of some of what he's done, look up his book called Satan at, I think it's the Fountainhead or the Foundation.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah.
It's Israel and the 2007 financial crisis. I might not have got the title exact, but basically Israel is the cause for the financial crisis. Now, we don't like Israel, but let's just say that is not a materialist analysis of political economy or the boom and bust cycle, or apartheid Israel. It's literally looking at Jewish financiers who are behind things.
I think that just about wraps up our segment on the campus protests and the various different hot takes from some of our favorite people. Does anyone else have anything more to say?
Do you want to play, and maybe the last clip, and that's it for the clip, but the girl who was on campus.
Yes.
Because let's end it with a laugh, because
this is funny.
Right. This is what happens when you consume like right-wing media. And, it's like, remember, like, I think it was a couple months ago when there was a bunch of right-wing idiots who went down to like the Texas border, and they expected to see like millions of undocumented workers like running over the border. But then when they got there, nothing was happening because the media lies to them or they exaggerate stuff.
Hold on. I have the clip.
I can't find
bring it up. If you give me like 1 second, I have it on my Twitter feed.
Yep. So now this is where someone really gets to learn the rubber meets the mode. The rubber meets the mode.
Oh, she deleted it from her Twitter feed.
It's the internet. Come on, we'll find. Okay. Well. I wonder why she deleted it.
To be honest.
That's
okay. Well, let that be the first thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't bring it up now. I was gonna do that, but I shared it on Twitter. I found it, but it's like you can't view it anymore.
Yeah, the campus sweeps are quite violent.
Yeah.
And they're out in force. I mean, you would literally need, they're overwhelming, and there's no escape from it. I remember reading Cory Doctorow over 10 years ago wrote a book that detailed what police kettling is and what it is to be in a police kettle and sort of the tactics and whatnot. Yeah, go ahead.
Fucking Christ.
Okay, I got the link there.
Okay, you found it. That's good.
Yep. Oh, good. It's 2 minutes.
I'm just looking at footage of professors getting arrested and thrown to the ground.
Holy shit.
What is wrong with these thugs, dude?
Yep.
Yeah, here's one.
Slamming her head into the concrete. She's a philosophy.
Emory University economics professor Carolyn Folan knocked to the ground with her head on the concrete. Her glasses are thrown off, and she shouts, "I'm a professor."
And these are two big. These are two pretty big, well-boot dudes with guns and bat. Yeah, God, these pigs. My God, they are. Wow. Good. They're like throwing her to the ground. Nice going. Yeah. Go home and beat your wife when you get home. Good.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, by the way,
their wives don't deserve
that. Well, they will. Well, their first wife is dead. The second one, is on the way.
Yeah. The one they've been grooming since she was 14. Yeah, that's it. That happened in a town next to me, by the way. Yeah. There was a couple of Stoughton cops were grooming a girl. She later took her life. But yeah.
Does anyone know of a verified way to donate to any of these groups?
That's a good question. I know I haven't seen anything because I want to as well, but yeah, I know.
Okay, so all right, you guys found it. A pro-Israel couple wanted to prove that protests at Yale University are anti-Semitic. The wife stood at the campus wearing T-shirt with the word Jew on the front, waiting to be attacked by pro-Palestinian activists while her husband was filming. Their attempt failed as no one paid them attention.
All right, let's make sure we put the audio on.
I kind of want this shirt.
Yep.
It just says Israel on the back.
How sad.
And then there's a Star of David on the back. Okay. Yep. It's on mute. Not that it matters.
Watch very closely what's going on around her.
Yep.
So people dancing, people are sitting around. No one is looking at her.
Yep.
She's got about 10 meters of space.
For those of you in America, that's 30 feet.
And there's the banner that Jews for Palestine.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jews for free Gaza. What's it saying? Oh,
couldn't have scripted it better.
It says,
my God.
Yeah, it says Jews for a free Palestine. Oh my God. Look at the sickening behavior of everyone sitting on the ground.
There's a lot of chalk. Books, not bombs. I see the watermelon and everyone's just there.
Yeah,
everyone's walking around.
Don't forget, this is a college campus. Like this lady
there
standing
there it is.
Palestine right
yeah. Yeah.
She's putting on a Karen face.
Wow.
Come on,
She
go
is-
talk to the manager or something.
All right.
Well, but yeah,
Oh, wait, wait, hold on. It's I think she's
Oh my god, he pans right to it.
They have it right in front of her.
Cut it out, dude.
Oh,
Cut
she's
that out of the
babbling
Wow,
now.
this
Hold
is
on.
like the best cell phone of all time.
Oh, now she's shouting at them.
Good.
Oh my god.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Like,
I like the dancing
They're just
guy.
dancing to drums. I mean, they don't care.
Like,
There's a drum circle 8 feet away from her, or
Right.
this is
3
a normal
meters.
day on campus.
Canadian
Best
friends.
thing
Yeah.
the organizers could
That's
have
the
done
thing.
was
It's a college
completely
campus.
ignored.
Like this is she would be like the 18th weirdest thing happening in like a like a 200-foot radius. Like, come
Sorry,
on.
honey, you're way down on our list.
Yeah, like,
Wow,
like
why would she want to delete this? I don't get it.
like when I was in my undergrad, do you know how many anti-abortion protesters would show up, and they would have like the fucking disgusting banners with like
Aborted fetuses. And
no,
stuff?
actually,
Yeah.
they're not aborted fetuses. They're actually miscarriages because you can't get pictures of aborted fetuses. They don't exist, so they have to take pictures of miscarriages, and they put them on giant fucking banners.
Yeah.
And
Had
like,
those
I'm
signs
just,
at my university.
I'm
God.
staring at him eating a hot dog covered in ketchup. Like no one cared.
Oh. Oh. But wow.
Campus Crusade for Christ come on my campus. The KKK, depending on the spell.
From the biggest
That's
signs
not
for those
good.
damn things too. I mean, come on.
Wait, all right, keep going. There's 30 more seconds. This is just, what is she?
She's just saying, "I'm not afraid."
I wanted.
Dox me.
Dox me.
Why?
Why?
Dox me, daddy.
Why?
We just want to laugh at you.
Okay,
Woe
this
is
laughs
me.
now.
Oh, he's starting to drum to her docs me. That's great.
God, I want to watch that guy. He's pretty good.
These
is
guys are
pretty
good
good.
drummers.
Oh,
got a good
cut it
Oh,
off.
that was it. Oh, man, I
It was
was
just
really
getting
digging the
good.
beat, but yeah, I like that quote. Yeah, I'm not afraid because there's no reason to be.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Are you
Yeah,
kidding
there's
me?
like, do you have any idea how many Jews are at this protest? Like, they're
Yeah.
these are coalitions led
like
by
they
Jewish
filmed it.
organizations.
I mean, they can't even they're not good at their Zionist propaganda. They can't even edit out the anti-Zionist Jews.
Yeah.
They
Wait,
couldn't
Aaron,
even-
can you go back to that? Just what was it? Was it Jews for a free Palestine for free Gaza? But that should be my profile pic for a month. That's my favorite thing. Yeah, you just pass it a little bit.
You couldn't even get you couldn't even plant a guy wearing a keffiyeh.
Yeah, no
To
shit.
just come and harass her, could pretend to harass
That's
her.
it. Jews for a free Palestine. They're right
So good.
in front of her.
Edit the video, man.
You couldn't get her both.
You're an idiot.
The guy doesn't know how to compose a scene.
I wonder why he
Well,
didn't zoom in
it
on
looks
that.
like it's a match made in heaven. Then
This is great.
I am not afraid.
yeah, because there's no reason to be.
Right. No one cares. Is that meme? No one knows that I'm not afraid. No, we all know we don't care. That's it. I like that joke. The 18th weirdest thing. To be honest, that'd be the least weird. I've been to a lot of protests. There's a lot of weirdos there.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
come up. Holy moly,
It's literally
but-
a drum circle right there.
Yeah,
Like-
there was a good beat. People were dancing. Yep, no one attacked her. Hard to believe. I don't know why she deleted it though, but
So trigger warning. This is pretty awful. Here's another. This is a Zionist
Ooh.
person, probably a student. I don't know.
yeah.
Who got stabbed in the eye with a Palestinian flag.
Oh, okay.
And she's filming people. This is pretty graphic. Just watch out.
Okay, I'm not. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's it.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my
Dude,
god!
I
It's
thought
like
oh, are you kidding me?
it's like a Spanish soccer player
Yeah.
fucking getting hurt.
Why are you kidding me?
Oh
Does that
my-
look intentional to
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
she has given multiple interviews. If you were stabbed in the eye, you'd
Stabbed.
if you're gonna go on national
Stabbed,
television,
huh?
at least bandage one of your eyes, right?
Yeah,
to
what the-
pretend.
Right. like Salman Rushdie, who was he was just on an interview with him with Jon Stewart.
Yeah, first question.
He was literally stabbed in the eye by a religious
good.
fundamentalist, like, and he's blinded,
Right,
with a knife. That's stabbed in the eye. I want Salman Rushdie to like talk to her. Like, let me show you stabbed in the eye. You know, it's his face is messed up a little bit from it too, but like, oh my God, lady, get over yourself. Holy Jesus. What a joke.
It's the activist version of crocodile tears. Like they're trying to take it to the next level, you know. First you had Norm Finkelstein going after the student asking the question. I can't remember the clip. You played it a while back, Aaron.
My father was in Auschwitz.
Right, 2 hours after
Love his voice. God.
2 hours after she was stabbed in the eye, she's on Piers Morgan.
Oh wow, she
recovered.
recovered.
My God, look at her eye.
That is a miracle.
Revolution. Intifada is a call to genocide against Jewish people.
No, it's not.
Represents a minority. Revolution.
No.
You didn't even have the sense to be like,
at least put a freaking eye patch. You know, it's
right.
like
or a cotton
sorry,
one. You know,
sorry, my eye is kind of hurting here. You know, at least I don't know.
I'm trying to find there is some history with this person manufacturing this sort of nonsense from like.
Are you kidding me? Someone who made up a claim that they were stabbed in the eye, then 2 hours later did a Piers Morgan interview without an eye patch, may not be a truthful indivital, is what you're trying to tell me?
Who's the guy who went around videoing people? I think it was like Acorn or something, and he would like edit the video to make it look like
the Project Veritas. He got sued because he got sued for lying and stuff because he's an idiot too, an Irish last name. I can't think of it. I can see his stupid face in my head, but he got sued because someone from Acorn, like, he needed help to register and vote, and he doctored the footage, got this guy fired. And then in court, he had to show it. And then I think he had to pay $300,000 in a lawsuit because a guy lost his livelihood because of him lying. Adam O'Keefe. That's it. That's that moron. Yeah.
There it
First,
is.
that's the reason.
Right.
And he was trained. And also he trained with Mossad, was actually like, there was some Israeli intelligence guy that was working with him. So, but wow.
Anyway, so the person who got stabbed in the eye also claimed that they made a big stink a number of years ago about the cafeteria at Yale removed Israeli couscous from their menu.
What?
Except they had to release a statement saying no, that never happened.
One student.
The dining hall had to reach out and release a press statement saying like,
me?
no, we didn't do that.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, completely made up.
I remember that. I remember people going on and on about that. Yeah.
It was so stupid. I forgot about it. Kind of.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
What was the date? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. When does the anti-Semitism stop? I mean, thank God she's there.
So that
about
about
the important issues.
I think that about wraps up our coverage of campus. Those of you who listen to this podcast, you're probably already very aware of what's happening on college campuses. We just wanted to explore and dunk on various dumb takes from some of our favorite characters out in the patriotic socialist world. If you are a student at one of these campuses and you have witnessed or been involved in being arrested, please reach out to us, leftopposition@gmail.com. We would love to interview you.
Yes, please. And if you do listen, please give us a 5-star review. We would appreciate it. I will plug 5-star reviews all day long. But yes, please contact us. We'd love to talk to you. That'd be great. Just don't stab any Zionists in the eye with a flag on purpose. You can't be purposely stabbing somebody while walking by them with an eye.
Anyway, and so I think we could cap off our coverage of campus with police have flooded. This is from Thomas Birmingham on Twitter. Police have flooded the encampment and given the warning, banging tents as they entered. Students have locked arms around the flagpole, signaling their willingness to be arrested. The crowd, several of whom are in tears, have begun singing, "We shall not be moved." Hell yeah. Solidarity to our friends on campus.
Solidarity.
Yep. Solidarity forever.
The Union is behind us, we shall not be moved. The Union is behind us, we shall not be moved just like a tree.